What are you guys doing? Welcome back, everybody. So I had enough interest in this that I figure it's about time it found its way to YouTube. So this is my D47U, and I got a lot of comments on what is this hanging off the back. So we're gonna start with that right away. This was an oil line tack rig. Basically, they would drive along a trench and use it to make compressed air for all the welders and that, for their tools. It had a toolbox up front. That's gone. I wasn't a big fan of that. But this is a massive air compressor, PTO driven off these belts. It does turn. It does make air. Tanks there. It had a bar that was mounted to the front up here in the pieces I already removed, and your air hose here, your outlet, tied into that bar, and it went straight up, and then it would hang out about a good 20 feet. Well, when I hauled this home from Kansas to South Dakota, it was not really worth me bringing all that extra stuff with. Honestly, I don't really like any of this. I mean, you can tell it was a homemade deal. It's not that it was done poorly, but it's enough of a cobbled together mess that I don't want to deal with it. As far as the air compressor goes, I'm probably just going to make it PTO driven on like a two-wheeled cart. That way we can still use it. Might as well. I already have it. It'd be great for sandblasting and stuff like that. So with that out of the way, we will get into the rest of the machine here. So we'll start with the undercarriage. Now, like I said, this is a D47U. This is the wide version. This is actually number 38126. Block and rear end do match. Idlers here look really good. There is a ton of meat left in them rails. Really, on undercarriage on this machine, nothing concerns me at all. Sprockets are almost new yet. They look great. Like I said, rails almost new. Even grousers are not worn that far. This undercarriage will last the lifetime of this machine with me owning it. I simply won't put enough hours on it to wear any of this out. This is a D315 diesel, 4-cylinder. This replaced the D4400 like in the RD4 that I have, or even the 5T that has the D4400. Uses the same pony motor, although this pony motor has electric start. Now, I bought this crawler with that pony motor stuck. I have not messed with it. We have either pull started this or used a direct electric start to get this machine to go. Up front here, we are missing the guard, which I did get one from Squatch 253. So we will have to get that put on this machine. And I think once we get rid of this cluster of stuff, it'll really kind of make this machine a little more sleek looking. Come around back here, you can see how that is PTO driven. Belts just run up to that compressor. And the story I got was this thing would sit there, you know, it would drive the length of a pipe, and it would sit there and idle, just building air all day. That's all it did. So a lot of engine hours, not much for undercarriage hours. Up in the operator seat here, we are definitely due for new upholstery. Air cleaner there. Foot pedals show a little bit of wear. Over on this side of the engine, now they had this cylinder in here, and I never got it when the line was hooked up, but from what I'm seeing here, I'm guessing somehow that if they dropped air pressure, it would kick the throttle up, would be my guess. Or I don't know how you would set it up where it was a max where it would actually idle down, but one of the two, they were either trying to idle up or idle down with this little air cylinder in there. That needs to get deleted. Not really a fan of that. We'll come over here. See if we can see what it has for hours. Looks like 1425. Over on the side of the crawler, undercarriage is much the same. Now these have a solid front idler, and that was done on units that typically got a blade or some sort of a lift. I am surprised to see though, I figured it would have a hard bar in there instead of a leaf spring. But either way, for what I'm doing, all is good. I would like to find the front track tin that would bolt right in these holes here. Middle pieces there, rear pieces are there on both sides, but the fronts are gone. Wouldn't mind finding some side plates. These are not the original fenders for this thing. These are homemade. Someone took 3/8 plate and made their own heavy duty fenders. They didn't do a terrible job, unless those are a factory piece, but I don't think they ran anything that heavy. Back over here at the Pony, I don't remember what the oil looked like in this thing. It's dark, but really there's no rust or anything in there. Hopefully we find some decent parts inside there when we do decide to overhaul this one. One thing to note, this did not have an oil cooler of any sort. I don't know if they just weren't concerned about it, but these lines are both plugged. This does have a direct drive generator, gear drive generator. That was obviously because it had an electric start pony motor. Other than that, there are no lights on this particular unit. Up front here, radiator doesn't look too bad. The old block style Caterpillar. I still like the wavy Caterpillar. I think that better suited these types of machines, just how they crawled over everything. Although I will say up top, these caps are much nicer than the older style caps, just a screw-on cap. The hood's not terrible. It's got a couple kinks in it, almost like they bent it in a brake press. I don't think they were, I think they were more rolled, not, you see there's a definitive line, definitive line, definitive line. Maybe that's how they were actually made. Pony motor exhaust is still taped shut from the haul home. That's been, boy, almost 5 years ago now. Never had any of this hooked up. There's really no reason. Like I said, it's stuck. Push button does work. That moves. Carb still moves. We're missing a knob there. Not sure where that's at. Compression release works. All the engagement stuff works. We won't get into that though. That kind of messes with the electric start, or the direct electric start. That's one thing I have not figured out yet, is if you were to run both the electric start and the direct electric start and the electric start pony, where do you put your batteries? I mean, do you build just your own battery box here? Because the direct electric start takes two 12-volt batteries in series to make 24 volts, whereas the pony motor, according to that battery, is a 6-volt unit. So we'll have to kind of cross that bridge when we get there. I don't really like the seat risers. I know why they did it, so you can see better. They don't really do a whole lot for me. I'd rather put the seat back down where it's supposed to be. Here's another one of them pipes. I think they could actually move where the air hose was hanging off from. A lot of accessories added to this crawler. A lot of accessories are going to leave this crawler. I do like the fact that it has a PTO, but that's not a true PTO. It's actually it's just a keyed shaft that they found a pulley that fit, and I mean, it works for them. There's the model then. Everything of the air compressor. As you can see, there's a 6-inch bore, 3 1/4 inch stroke. times 4 cylinders. So 6-inch bore, or maybe it is 3, and maybe it's 3 1/4, maybe it's 6-inch stroke. Either way, that's a lot of cubes in an air compressor. So guys, this is the one, like I said, that started it all. This is the first cat crawler I ever bought, and it's a neat crawler. The problem is it's an in-between. It's not in need of a full restoration. Really, you could get by fixing a few things and just throwing some paint on it. You could do a full teardown on it, but like I said, it's not really necessary. There's just a few seals in that need to be fixed. Fix some smaller leaks, fix the pony motor, make that right, delete some of the aftermarket accessories that were added, and you'd have a really, really nice unit. I know what we forgot to talk about though. It's got the belly pan tow hook, and I'm not sure what this was. I think this thing kind of came down and held a strap on there or something. There was something that came out over from these two. Maybe it was like a tow type bar. I'm not sure. As you can see, whatever it was, it pulled on this hard enough to deflect that 1/4-inch belly pan. I'll get you guys a good front view so you can see how wide them tracks are in comparison to the rest of the tractor. So, neat unit. Like I said, it's not bad enough to warrant a full teardown. I mean, just run it, drive it the way it is. Maybe we'll get into tearing the pony down on it in the future, or maybe we'll get into kind of cutting some of the accessory stuff off. But until then, I'm going to keep plugging away at the RD4. I don't want to tear into another project when I've already got too many going. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. I'll show you guys a side of these dogs you'll rarely ever see. They laid down. It's a miracle, right, Milo? Should we go inside, Finny?